I'm a plant-based wellness guide here in New York, so I teach people about plants, and that could be herbalism, that could be nutrition, and that is definitely lifestyle practices for how to incorporate plants into our lives for better well-being. So I feel like I'm talking to a group that knows a lot about that, which is great. Hopefully I can teach you a couple of new things tonight on the theme of aphrodisiacs. So hopefully these will be passed out, but I'll start. So I wanted to start with a quote. It's also a little bit of a mic test, but I think it's a nice quote to start tonight with. It's from Timothy Leary. So, the aim of human life is to know thyself, think for yourself, question authority, think with your friends, create new realities. Philosophy is a team sport. Philosophy is the ultimate aphrodisiac pleasure. Learning how to operate your own brain, learning how to operate your own mind, and learning how to redesign chaos. Oh, am I too quiet? So I liked that quote because obviously we're talking about aphrodisiacs and related tonight, and then the idea of philosophy as an aphrodisiac is something that I feel like happens here in this beautiful space on a regular basis, and especially tonight. So aphrodisiacs, they are ancient, they are very varied. So plants, food, herbs, those are all one and the same thing. Sometimes we separate them. They've been used for thousands and thousands of years around the world to inspire certain moods and also to change the chemistry of our bodies in ways that we want, that make us feel good, or that are exciting, or that are inspiring. So the definition of it is, an aphrodisiac is something that it increases sexual desire or is exciting. And it doesn't have to be a consumable. So we'll talk about things that we smell, which would actually be a consumable, or things that we think, placebos, or ideas, or words, or sights can also be aphrodisiacs. The word originates from early 18th century Greek and the goddess Aphrodite. She was the goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation. And generally, aphrodisiacs work in two different ways. So they work on the mind, they work on the body. I know it's a little soft to make a distinction between those two things, but kind of goes back to what I was saying about something being an idea as opposed to a consumable. In terms of the mind, it could be something like lowering inhibitions, sort of social lubrication, or generating an excitement. And that can be actual. So something like cannabis has a very, undeniable actual effect. Something like a placebo actually can be effective also. So both work. Oh, good. We're getting the elixirs. In terms of the body, an aphrodisiac can work in a lot of different ways too. Generally, it's a increase in circulation or the modulation of chemicals like neurotransmitters or our hormone balance. We'll get a little more specific about that in a minute, but basically things that make us feel good. So tonight I have 5 herbs that I'll talk about quickly. Some are in the drinks that you're about to have, and some are not. The first, I believe, is not included in anything tonight, but it's very common, so it's cacao. It actually comes from a tree, and it's a fascinating plant. We can consume so many different parts of it. And cacao, as an aphrodisiac, it creates this sort of interesting tension for us. It is stimulating. It contains an alkaloid called theobromine,
which acts on the central nervous system like caffeine. It's not actually caffeine, but it can create a sort of stimulation. So if you're the type of person who will stay up all night if you have dark chocolate too late, you can blame or know that it's the theobromine. But for some people, that's a great, uplift. It's also calming, and it's calming in a really fascinating way. Cacao contains enzyme inhibitors that slow our body's ability to break down anandamide. Does anybody here know anandamide? I feel like this group would. No? Anandamide is our body's equivalent, basically, to THC. Ananda is a Sanskrit word that means bliss or joy. You hear anandamide called the bliss molecule. It makes us feel really good, and we produce it naturally. And cacao helps our body not break it down so fast. It has a very short life. So by eating this cacao, we're giving a longer life to our bliss molecule, which is pretty fantastic. And that molecule also, being a sort of natural equivalent to cannabis, binds to cannabinoid receptors in our body, a system called the endocannabinoid system that is primed and sort of asking to create a state of homeostasis. So naturally, we're encouraging that to occur with cacao consumption. Now, obviously, the darker the better, or the raw bean, the whole bean, whatever part of the plant is closer you can get to the plant, the better. A bar of like 50% chocolate's not quite there, but they have some amazing chocolate here, and I'm pretty sure it's raw, and I know it's really dark. So in terms of consuming cacao, you can eat it, you can drink it, you can have the powder, you can take it in tincture form, you can drink juice from the pulp of the plant. So there's lots and lots of ways to consume cacao. I highly recommend it. The next herb is Damiana. So Damiana Damiana is a flowering shrub native to Mexico, and it is in some of these elixirs tonight. Maybe we can get clarification on what exactly is in each of these, but I know there's some Damiana in the house. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. So it's the leaf of the plant that we consume. You can make it as a tea, beautiful tea. It's in the same family as passion flower. Passion flower is a wonderful aphrodisiac. Damiana has a similar, well, I shouldn't say it's similar. Damiana also works on the endocannabinoid system. So it causes a sort of we feel good. Not as much of an uplift as cacao, but sort of a feeling of well-being and calm. It can be very helpful for anxiety, and it's particularly for people who are very sensitive. It can really increase sexual desire. So it's an ancient aphrodisiac, very common in old love potions. Really beautiful plant, and also something that just feels nice. So it's not like something that you could only have if you wanted to be in a particular mood. If you just wanted to feel a little bit good, you can have some Damiana tea or elixir. So keep an eye on an internal gauge of how you're feeling tonight with all of these beautiful elixirs. The next herb, the next plant that I wanted to talk about is lavender, but rather than talk too much about lavender, it was more about the way that we can consume these aphrodisiacs, and something like lavender, which tends to be really common as an essential oil. So essential oils are volatile oils. When exposed to oxygen, those molecules are looking for something to bind to, and when we breathe them in or put them on our skin, more commonly we're breathing them in, we are actually absorbing those molecules and that plant extract. We're also absorbing and sort of triggering the place in our brain where memory and emotion are stored. So that's the amygdala and the hippocampus. And things like sight and touch don't go through that same pathway. So scent is fascinating. So scent as an aphrodisiac, I would suggest that you consider times in your life where you've been in a mood that you want to recreate, and see if you can't identify what a scent was then. Lavender is really common. Vanilla is really common. Lavender, yes. Rose, maybe lang lang. And lang lang, I was just told, is actually part of the elixirs tonight as an aroma. So I don't know if it was on the one that you got tonight, but there's actually an aroma that's been sort of sprayed, misted over these beverages, which is great. I was talking about scent before I learned that, and we've got the same tricks tonight. But that scent is going straight into a part of your brain where your memories and your emotions are stored. And actually, just so you know, the other scents that are on the elixirs tonight are, there's lang lang, there's mandarin, and there's a night blooming jasmine. Gorgeous. Oh, so just some quick facts about lavender. I found these really interesting. Well, at least one. The scent of lavender has been found to increase blood flow to the genitals by 40%. And this is for men. For women, it was cucumber and licorice. Just leaving that there. And the next herb is actually two, because they work in a similar way. And a lot of aphrodisiacs work in this way. So saffron, so we have an herb that's a culinary herb, and ginseng. Ginseng has a pretty good reputation for increasing sexual performance. We may also know ginseng as great for memory or mind. That's because it improves circulation. It improves circulation across the board. So circulation to the brain, circulation to extremities. If you have cold hands and feet like me in the wintertime, you might want more ginseng, or for sexual performance. Saffron is similar, increases circulation. Saffron also is high in iron, which can help boost red blood cell count, which then helps circulation and oxygenation of the blood. So both of those are good for performance, more specifically. And the last one for tonight, because there are hundreds, is Maca. Does anybody here use Maca? Yes, Maca is getting more and more popular. It's a fabulous root from Peru, primarily. It's called Peruvian ginseng sometimes. Maca is very strongly effective on the hormone balance. It actually works on the endocrine system, which is sort of a precursor to our hormonal system. And for that reason, and for the reason that it's also an adaptogenic herb, which those tend to be holistic in their actions, Maca can affect everyone a little bit differently. So if I have low estrogen and I take Maca, it may help bring it up. If I have high estrogen and I take Maca, it may help bring it down. But pretty commonly, Maca takes libido and shoots it way up. So common side effect of regular consumption of Maca, I would say that if it's something that you want to try to incorporate into your life, that you make it regular and that you really know why and what you're doing. Otherwise, it's pretty much just good for energy. But as a treatment, it's very, very strong. And don't take it at night. I recently met someone who unfortunately thought that insomnia was ruining her health, and it turns out it was probably the Maca at night that was keeping her up. So Maca in the daytimes. And then just a quick recipe idea for you. Aphrodisiacs and love potions love potions are one of the oldest ways that we've been consuming aphrodisiacs. So you could take most of these herbs that I mentioned tonight, or any others that you know that are aphrodisiacs, or that you think are aphrodisiacs because of that either placebo or psychological effect. You can simmer them on the stove anywhere between an hour to 24 hours if you are serious about it, and get a really strong decoction. That's called a decoction, or an herbal, almost an extract. And then you can mix that blend with honey, or with brandy is very common. So if you drink alcohol, brandy, otherwise honey or any other sort of juice if you prefer. Wine is also common. So you see that a mulled wine is almost, a love potion depending on the ingredients in there. And then you can serve it. Serve it to yourself, to somebody else, and cheers. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of tonight.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Doesn't like that. Hello, hello.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Sure.
Hello, hello. Okay. Smoothie. Nice to see this place so packed, and nice to see friends all the time. I was telling Rodrigo and the people who are booking things in here that it's beautiful to finally see something of the consciousness movement not be underground, but actually taking the beautiful places in Manhattan. So I feel like that shows that we are all on a good track. Hopefully soon we'll see it in commercials and TV and Ayahuasca Inc. or something like that. Maybe. Ayahuasca and sponsors and presents. No, I'm thinking, maybe fantasizing. I'm gonna play for you guys some Indian classical music. Is there anybody here who has heard Indian classical music before? Few people, not everybody. The reason why I chose to bring this out today is because when I heard that Meg was going to do a presentation in Tantra, I thought it would be a perfect thing because Tantra and Indian classical music are actually both coming from the same yogic line. When I was reading what Meg wrote about Tantra, that is that we all have the masculine and the feminine energy within ourselves at all times. I remember where some of the Indian masters are saying about that there is an energy of yin and yang making cosmic love all the time in the universe. And one of the reasons why the masters or people like Rumi or people who are illuminated are in constant bliss is because they're feeling the ecstasies of that love making at all times. Now, I don't know what it's like to be in a blissful state at all times, but I do know when it is sometimes, and I am sure that all of us know it. Indian classical music is one of the 60 yogic traditions that is a practice offered to be in the present moment and to try to bring the mind into the present moment so that one can actually feel the ecstasies of that love, cosmic love making at all times. The reason why we don't feel it is because our minds are all the time so disturbed, actually. So we're not in ecstasies all the time. But what I'm trying to do with my practice every day is for you, if you listen to, not me, because it isn't me, or I try at least to get away, to get out of the way, is so that we can be present, and in that presence of the moment, get a glimpse of the cosmic love making. Now, I'm going to play for you this raga that my gurus forbade me to play. They told me I should not play this for at least another 10 or 15 years. Some say 20 years. But I really just could not play it. I was tuning my instrument, and it really was the only thing coming. So the reason why they don't want me to play it is because it's a very heavy spirit. It's one of the oldest ragas brought into the tradition, and it's hard to catch. I have, but most times I don't. I'm going to try to catch it, and your presence and attention might help us bring it down. I'm going to do the best to my abilities. I hope it comes through. And this is for you, Raga Darbardi, Canada. this little short rendition. This these pieces can go for 2 hours, but I felt like if I go a little deeper, then I'm not gonna be able to come back. So I don't want to take the whole time. Please welcome Meg for the Tantra talk.
Yeah, I'm going to teach a breath, and then when we start breathing, you'll know when to come in. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Who here thinks breathing is sexy? All right. Did you know the key to multiple orgasms is one thing? Besides permission, 2 things. Permission and breath. Okay? So, on that note, can we breathe together? Good. Close your eyes. Where your gaze goes, so goes your energy. And this time is for you to build up your life force energy, for you to build it up, for you to hold on to it, and for you to share it if you choose, when you choose, with whom you choose. So keep those eyes closed. And you're going to breathe in long and slow and deep through your nose. And just relax. You were born to breathe. And you can imagine that you've got a balloon in your belly, a red balloon. And let that balloon fill up with air as you breathe in long and slow and deep through your nose. And now I'm going to invite you to take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth towards the back. Your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and so-called reality. So you're going to imagine that the top of your throat is lightly constricting. You're going to imagine that your jaw, which actually works so hard to help hold you up during the day, is relaxing. You're going to imagine that your tongue, which is one of the strongest muscles in your body, is relaxing. And as you breathe in long and slow and deep through your nose, you're going to imagine the top of your throat slightly constricting. And that's going to make an ocean type sound. It sounds like this. Good, keep breathing. Tantra is the meditation of the senses. So as you breathe, tune into the sound of that ocean breath. Really fill your hearing sense with the sound of your breath, with the sound of your neighbor's breath. You can even take your fingers to the back of your jawbone and push in underneath your ears. That can help the top of your throat to slightly constrict. This is what it sounds like to be in the womb. Good, keep breathing. You're eliciting serotonin and dopamine, feel-good hormones, as you breathe in, making the sound of an ocean wave. Start to imagine, see yourself as a wave of an infinite sea of energy, both individual and interconnected with an infinite ocean of energy. And as you breathe in fresh new energy. And as you breathe out, let go of anything that doesn't serve you. We're going to work through the 5 secrets of OYoga. Breathing is number 1. Number 2 is no judgment. Only experience, no judgment. Number 3, as you breathe in, I want you to engage your pelvic floor, okay? So you're going to inhale. You can squeeze your glutes. You can pull your abs in. You can imagine you're tying a tight belt around your behind, and everything tightens. And then exhale. Let it all go. And as you inhale, engage your complete core, your root chakra, your second chakra. Pull that energy up to the crown of your head. And then exhale. Let go. Good. Inhale, you can even squeeze your hand into a fist as you engage your glutes. Pull those abs in. And exhale. Let go. Remember, keeping your eyes closed, no judgment. Bend your knees just a little bit. And now, as you inhale, can you tuck your tail under and tilt your pelvis forward? And then as you exhale, can you arch your back and let go? And as you inhale, tuck your pelvis under, lift that energy up to the crown of your head. And exhale, let go. Inhale, lift that energy up to the crown of your head as you breathe in, pull that life force energy up, and exhale, let go. And now I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. We're going to add the microcosmic orbit. Inhale, lift that energy up. If this reminds you of Tai Chi, there's a reason. Tantra's had a profound effect on Taoism, Eastern philosophy. And now exhale, ground that energy back down your spine all the way to the coccyx, to the root. Inhale, tuck your tail, pull that energy up. And exhale, ground that energy down your spine all the way to the bottom of your spine. Inhale, pull that energy up. And exhale. Good. All right, next secret is circles. You can do these anytime, anywhere to build up your life force energy. Inhale, tuck your tail under, circle to the left, circle back and release, circle to the right, and circle front. This is my little trick from 80s hair metal singing. I was a rock and roller for many years. And most of my outfits were petroleum-based. Yeah, my fashion was subsidized by federal petroleum subsidies. But anyway, if you see me going like this, that's me reiterating to my pelvic floor to contract and release. You see a rock singer going, ah! That's them telling their pelvic floor to hit that note up there, okay? So, Tantra with a twist, right? Go ahead, find those hip circles. And you just want to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. And let's circle to the other direction. Good. These hip circles wake up your life force energy. It's better than a cup of coffee. Trust me, I have 3 kids. I know. Good. All right. Last secret. Close your eyes. Featherlight touch. So go ahead, give me a nice big bliss breath in. And a nice nice big bliss breath out. Good. Sound is a thief that steals the tension from the body. I like that. Inhale. And let's have a nice ha. Good. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Ha. So feather light touch with your eyes closed. You have an energy body. It's interconnecting, interrelating with all the energy bodies around you. So I want you to massage the energy around your head about 6 inches or so above your head. Just massage it. And then trying to keep your eyes closed if you can, right? Where your gaze goes, so goes your energy. And you want to root that energy down into you. Now, massage about 6 inches in front of your heart. Do you know you don't even have to touch your own skin? You can massage in front of your heart and your energy body and lower your blood pressure. Amazing, right? Now, take your fingers very lightly across your collarbone, across your chest. A touch to the chest elicits oxytocin, the love and bonding hormone, which also lowers your blood pressure. Good, and keeping your eyes closed, you're just going to feather light touch your face, your hair, your arms, your shoulders. You're waking up your energy body, and you're spreading that energy evenly. So you might find some spots that are hypersensitive, and that's where energy has built up, and you're spreading it evenly. You might find some spots that tingle. You're waking those spots up. And don't forget to breathe. Good. So the bliss breath calms you down. But did you know you can raise your metabolism just by breathing? So I want you to reach your arms up and take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to drill your elbows into your ribs, and you're going to let me hear a nice big yes! Yes! Here we go. Yes! Oh, come on now. I have a mic, and I barely heard a squeak. You can do better than that. Inhale. And exhale. Yes! All right. I think I'm in New York City now. Inhale. And exhale. Yes! Good. So, did anybody notice you're squeezing your hands into fists when you do that? What's this our code word for? That's right. Get that pelvic floor going. Most important postural muscle in your body. Get to know your pelvic floor. If you work one muscle in your body, it should be your pelvic floor. That's my public service announcement. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, so that means the yes is going to come all the way down here, all the way up here. Did you notice that the yes is going to come all the way from the root chakra through almost all your chakras, out your throat chakra, right? But it should reverberate through the rest of the chakras, right? That's because sound is a thief that steals the tension from your body. So what are you doing? You're reaching up to pure possibility, which is our true nature, that pure possibility that we all come from. You're pulling down that which you want to create, and you're saying yes to it by letting go of anything that's blocking you from manifesting it, okay? So, can we do it? All right, here we go. Inhale and exhale. We're going to pick up the pace now. Yes, and yes, 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 yes. What are you saying yes to? See it in your imagination. If you can't imagine it, you cannot create it. Yes, 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 yes. Let's pick up the pace. Yes, 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 If you want to stop, keep going. That's you coming up against an energy block. Push right through. Yes, 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 yes. All right, arms up, eyes closed. Arms up, eyes closed. Woo! You said it. Keep those eyes closed. You worked hard to build up that life force energy. Hold on to it. Feel your arms being held up by that pure possibility that is our true nature. Feel that life force energy coming down through your fingers, coming down through your arms, coming down through the crown of your head, pouring down through your heart. And then feel the earth, who works so hard to hold you up. You think you do all the work holding yourself up, but that earth is there all the time. Feel that earth energy coming up your legs, coming through your hips, which is where your hopes and fears live, coming up through your abdominals, in through your breath, meeting that sky energy in your heart, where masculine and feminine come together to create your life of intention, to create your life of empowerment. Now you're going to form a seed, a sankalpa, a seed of intention. And I am, I have, I create. Give words to it as if it already exists. I am grateful for. And you're going to say that sankalpa 3 times to yourself. And it can be anything. I'm so grateful we miraculously have a new president. Anything. Remember, we are pure possibility. Why not take advantage of that all possibility? Say your sankalpa 3 times. If your arms get tired, feel that pure possibility holding you up. And then when you've said it to yourself 3 times, take your hands to your heart and say it again 3 times, grounding it into your heart center, where masculine and feminine come together to create your life of wide awake intention. And then, once you've said it to yourself 3 times, take your right hand below your belly button to your abs and ground that energy all the way down. And open your eyes. Go ahead and sit down. Oh yeah, you wanna? I think I'm okay. What do you think? Okay, yeah. All right. Well, we get to close the place down for the night, so I don't know, what are you all in the mood for? Do you want to do a meditation? You want to ask some questions? Do you want me to wax poetic? Wax? Okay. So Tantra is a 5,000-plus-year-old system. Actually, can we get a hand for Camila? I'd say you caught that spirit. Beautiful. I almost fell off my chair twice. No joke.
It came.
Yeah.
I got scared, actually. I got a little scared because I'm like, it's really intense, and if you don't go deep, then it will fall apart. It falls apart.
And I almost fell apart. It would have been really embarrassing. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's a 5,000 plus year old system. It says that we all, I'm about to distill a 5,000 year old plus system into a few sentences. It says that we all have masculine and feminine within us. And it is the interplay of the masculine and feminine which comes together to create more energy. And that's where you create everything from creating a human, to creating a piece of art, to creating self-healing. It's the accelerated path. It is the meditation of the senses. So it's about bringing all of your senses together into integration, into integrity. And I don't know, I prefer to just do Tantra rather than talk about it. So go ahead and close your eyes. And let's revisit that bliss breath. And if you're inspired, by all means, please. So you're going to breathe in nice and long and slow and deep through your nose. And breathe out nice and long and slow and deep. And I really want you to start to fill your senses with your experience of this breath. How does it feel to make that ocean sound? And you can take your fingers towards the back of your jaw, underneath your ears, if you're having trouble making that ocean sound. And if the ocean sound isn't coming today, that's okay. But just try to tune into the sound and imagine you're making it, and your body will give you what you're asking for eventually. Keep breathing, because I'm going to talk to you. I want you to imagine something that's stressing you out. Could have happened today, could have happened this week. It could be something that feels like it's plaguing you, dogging you for your whole life. Imagine something that's stressing you out, and check in with your body. How does it feel to be in your body when you think about that stressor? Is there a taste with it? Is there a sound? Is there a touch? Is there a smell? Call in all your senses into that place of stress. Those places of stress that we try to get away from. But really, if you can feel it, you can heal it. So you're going to breathe in long and slow and deep into whatever feelings in your body or in your heart that come up. And you're going to exhale cooling relief to yourself and everybody who's ever felt that way. That's really important. We get so isolated in our stress, but really in this day and age, what unites us more than the stress that we actually share more than we think we do? So you're going to inhale, breathe in. It could be physical pain, emotional pain. And exhale, cooling relief to yourself and everybody who's ever felt that way. As you breathe into these feelings in your body or in your heart, those feelings might start to shift. And just go with it. One time I did this breath and I shifted from anxiety to fear, to love, to anger. However you're feeling, that's your body talking to you, unwrapping a magical story of healing for you. And all you have to do is breathe into whatever it tells you. And exhale cooling relief to yourself and everybody who's ever felt that way before. Keep working with yourself. Keep unwrapping your gift. That is all these feelings that you can breathe into and exhale cooling relief. Connect and let go through. And while you breathe in, connecting with yourself, I'm going to tell you a story. Your mind is a dutiful servant. And your mind, your sharp intellect, it serves the master, your soul. And the seat of your soul is in your heart. And like any dutiful servant, when your mind senses that the ruler of your life, your soul, is in danger, that dutiful servant rushes to slam the door to your heart. But your soul is eternal. Your soul came here to experience. Your soul came here from all possibility to experience specificity, a specific experience. And your soul is in love with your life. No matter what happens, your soul is enthralled, because this is the all possibility that you came to experience. So I want you to breathe into your mind. Breathe into that dutiful servant in your mind. And thank your mind for working so hard to protect your heart. And keep breathing into your mind and exhaling gratitude for your mind to work so hard. And now you're going to invite your mind to travel down to your heart. And when you get down to your heart, you're going to see that the door is locked. And I want you to take your hand onto the doorknob and go ahead, breathe in long, slow, deep. And as you exhale, let go and open that door just a little bit. And go ahead, inhale, breathe in long, slow, deep. And as you exhale, open that door a little more. Open that door to your heart. Breathe in long, slow, deep. And exhale. Open that door all the way to your heart and see your soul sitting on the throne of your life, enthralled by everything that you get to experience. You can see your soul sitting there watching the movie of your life as if it's the best movie it's ever seen. And you're going to inhale, breathe in that fascination and gratitude for life. And exhale that gratitude and fascination for life. And inhale, breathe it all in. Breathe that gratitude in. And exhale, send that gratitude back to your soul. And now I want you to think back to that upsetting incident that we started this meditation with. Think back to to whatever it is that upset you and breathe it in again, long and slow and deep. And exhale, cooling relief for everybody who's ever felt that way before. Inhale long, slow, and deep. And exhale gratitude for all that you get to breathe through, all that you get to experience, and still living your life from your soul's perspective, ever grateful for it all. And go ahead and open your eyes. So to me, that's a little taste of what a tantric lifestyle is. My biggest mentor so far in Tantra is Psalm Isadora, the late, great Psalm Isadora. And she used to say that your mind is the biggest sex organ you have, right? But having your mind release itself to your heart, reinstalling your heart to the throne to rule your life, opening your breath up to feel all the magnificent palette of possibility that we get to feel. That is where orgasmic living comes from. So, go ahead and we're going to do a meditation of the senses on Camille's playing, okay? So, give me that bliss breath. Your eyes can be opened or closed as you choose, but I want you to inhale, breathe in the sound of Camille's playing, and exhale, let go of anything that might be interfering with your full experience of the gift of sound. And you're going to inhale, breathe in that sound as if it's coursing through your body. And exhale, let go of anything that's holding you back from feeling. And now I want you to imagine that Camille's playing is food. Something you can taste in your mouth. What does the sound make you taste in your mouth? Are your salivary glands activating just at the thought of being able to taste music? Or maybe being able to eat your favorite food while listening to this beautiful music? You're going to breathe in whatever you taste in your mouth. And you're going to exhale, let go of anything that's holding you back from fully inhabiting, fully feeling your gift to taste something. And go ahead, breathe it in. And exhale, let go. And go ahead and open your eyes and watch Camille play. Look at her fingers, look at her gaze, look at her instrument. And as you watch Camille play, can you breathe in what you're seeing, the gift of sight that you have? And exhale, let go of anything that's asking you to look away, anything that's telling you you can't get drunk on seeing something beautiful. And inhale, breathe in all that you experience by watching her play. And exhale, let go. And now we're going to bring in the sense of touch. You can touch your heart. You can touch your fingers. that feather-light touch. How does it feel to just gently touch your hair and breathe in all that you hear, all that you taste, all that you see, and exhale, let go of anything that's trying to pull you out of your senses. And then go ahead and quiet your touch. And inhale, imagine a smell. For me, I'm going to imagine roses. That's what Camille's playing brings up for me. Imagine a smell and breathe it in. And exhale, just let go. Remember, your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, so imagine your favorite scent. It can be cinnamon, could be chocolate, could be jasmine, green tea. So if you consume everything that way, that is blissful living. I feel like somebody has questions. Does anybody have a question? I can feel it. Someone has something they want to ask me. Yes?
How is it that you developed an attunement to your body? You know, it seems like it's like almost it's hard to like explain or verbalize it, but like I know my spine or my lower spine is there, right? I can speak more loudly actually. I know my lower spine is there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I know that I can but how do I feel it? You know, or like get in tune with it and try to experience the sensations that of my shirt on it or something.
Great question. Great question. Practice. You know, one of the things that I love about teaching Tantra and making it accessible is it's these tools. It's a toolkit. I call it the 8 crayon box, right? It really takes true mastery to make a masterwork, to create with only 8 crayons, right? You know, you get that 300 crayon box and you can make it look easy, right? But to me, Tantra, this 5,000-year-old system, is the 8 crayon box, and it's this simple set of tools, but you have to use them. But if you work with them, they will work for you. And that's precisely the path. You're bringing your mind into your body, and you're connecting with all your senses, bringing them together in integrity. I think it's hysterical that the stereotype about Tantra is that it lacks integrity and lacks boundaries, because I can tell you that where there is true intimacy, there are true boundaries. And if there is a lack of boundaries, it's because there's a lack of intimacy, all right? And so you're talking about coming into union with yourself. Psalm used to talk about how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that would explode people's heads. Because they'd be like, well, how I eat my toast in the morning is not how I treat my employees. Well, first of all, there is an argument. There is a real argument to be made that one can predict how you treat your employees by how you eat your toast. But she was literally talking about one thing. Can anybody guess what that one thing is that predicts how you do everything else? Yeah? You know what? That's the practice. That is the practice, that is the pathway that gets you to this one thing. So that's very, very incisive. Very good. Self-love. Inherent in that self-love is connection. Connecting with your mind, integrating it with your body, integrating it with your senses, becoming whole and one. And how you connect with yourself, especially whether it's in love, is going to predict how you do everything else. To me, that's what the Tantric lifestyle is about, self-love. It's not that you can't share that love with another, but you're not looking to the dance between two actual people to substitute for the dance between your masculine and feminine within you. You inhabit your masculine, you inhabit your feminine. You bring them together in your daily practices. And that is where the blissful living comes from. So for you, okay, we're going to jump into chakra mapping, okay? For you, you're talking about feeling disconnected from your lower chakras. Those are your feminine chakras, okay? Your root chakra, second chakra, third chakra. Those are your feminine chakras. So I have some free videos on YouTube. Just search on Artful Body, A-R-T-F-U-L, Body on YouTube. I only have like 3 videos, but I swear, you do that breath work for just 1 minute of each breath work every day, you will start to see things change. It's simple and it's powerful, which means you don't make a lot of money off of it, so. Sorry, yeah.
How does Tantra treat or what's kind of the implementation of emotions?
Can you say that again?
How Tantra treats emotions? So we talk about the mind and the body.
Yeah. Well, you know, we did that Tantric heart opening meditation, right? And your heart, it's, to get geeky, it's actually your high heart, which is a secondary chakra. It's not one of the main chakras, which is technically the seat of your soul. But in that meditation, your soul lives in your heart, where your masculine and feminine come together. And, you know, the pathway to being whole is being able to feel all your feelings. And physiologically, the key to being able to feel all your feelings is to breathe into them. And that breath in particular, but any breath will do. I've had PTSD my entire life. I grew up in Asia and Africa, And I was treated for PTSD starting at age 6, so 38 years. And I've been treated for PTSD since before the term PTSD existed. And so I'm a bit of a connoisseur. And I like to say that I'm a wellness professional because I've been a student of unwellness my whole life. And part of what drew me to Tantra was, I'm also an artist, I'm a singer-songwriter, and part of what drew me to Tantra was it was the first system that made sense to me, that feeling is the pathway to healing, but you need to breathe at the same time. Otherwise, you're not going to stay on that path. You're going to go into fight, flight, or freeze, right? Does that answer your question? Yeah. So giving yourself permission, right? First principle, no judgment, right? So when you're talking about taking stock and connecting with your feelings and integrity, you're not going to get very far if you spend your time judging your feelings, right? If you're feeling, I've never met a dangerous feeling other than numbness. Numbness is the only dangerous feeling I've ever met. So if you're going to judge your feelings, you're going to numb, right? And that's truly when you're in danger, because then you're putting yourself in a position to act from your feelings, rather than breathing into your feelings. And when you can breathe into your feelings, particularly with that bliss breath, you're tricking your body into feeling okay with the serotonin and dopamine, right? You're reassuring your body with the physical mechanics of the breath. And the breath gives the processing a rhythm, right? You breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in. Your nervous system settles down with rhythm. People who eat every 2 hours, their metabolisms go up and they lose weight just from eating every 2 hours. You listen to a regular rhythm, your heart rate syncs up to the rhythm. So you soothe yourself just with rhythm, right? So if you're unpacking a difficult emotion, just by breathing in any kind of breath and breathing out and still breathing, you're soothing yourself and you're staying present with your feelings, which allows you to work through them. I've trained quite a few therapists, and inevitably they always leave the session and skip right into working with their clients like an hour later, and they come back and they're like, "Oh my God, they had the biggest breakthrough, you'd never believe it." And I'm like, I spent 30 years in therapy, I believe it. Right? So just breathe into the feelings. It doesn't matter if you remember the particulars of the bliss breath, just keep breathing. Yes.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about, you know how like a lot of the Buddhist traditions, some of the Hindu traditions, they use a lot of meditation to get to this exalted state of mind. I haven't really studied much of Tantra, but is it accurate to say, I don't know, that the doing the meditation practice, which has nothing to do with the senses, quite opposite, isn't it? I mean, because they're closing themselves off to sound and to everything, and there's only silence, and then getting to the ecstasy through silence. Is it Tantra the opposite?
Camille with the win. Okay. I don't think it's possible for me to answer this question without offending someone, so I'm going to breathe into offending you, and I'm going to exhale cooling relief, because... So, historical evidence says that all of yoga comes from Tantra. And all of yoga split off from Tantra 800 years ago in India. And all of yoga, if you look at various things, you can see that they took the masculine half of the philosophy of Tantra with it and left behind the feminine half. So, yeah, food for thought. And look, deep bow to yoga. I love yoga. I studied it intensely for years. There's so much goodness in yoga, so please don't translate that as, but that's the historical reality. And so it's interesting to me as an historian that wasn't only happening with Tantra and yoga. There was, not all at the same time, but if you think about world history, there were all these periods of so-called enlightenment, in which enlightenment was a one-way street, right? Whether you're talking about enlightenment being achieved through a form of meditation that devoids you of your senses and seeks to escape the human experience. You talk about heaven, ascension, that's a one-way thing. What's down here? Well, the Garden of Eden and hell, right? But, there were many evolved cultures who went through this phase of defining enlightenment by devoiding yourself of the senses and having the enlightenment be up here. The system of Tantra is, look, it's not balanced, it's not even. It does say that if you are in a body, having a human experience that you chose to have, that in the embodied form, the feminine is a little bit more powerful than the masculine. But remember, we all have masculine and feminine in us, right? So that doesn't mean that women rule the world, necessarily. It means that if you are going to have a fully empowered, embodied experience, you must find integrity with your feminine as well as your masculine, with your attachment, which is down in your root chakra, as well as your detachment, right? And so you think about an energy coil and how energy flows through that coil, that microcosmic orbit that we did, we're bringing our energy from attachment up to detachment. We're bringing it back down with deliberation and control into our human embodied experience, into our senses, and we're bringing it up into detachment. So when I made that cheeky little comment about your pelvic floor being the most important muscle in your body, which it is, by the way, it is, just from a biomechanical standpoint, your pelvic floor contracting and releasing embodies the nature of the universe. Contract, attach, release, detach. Contract, attach, release, detach. And it is that contract and release that builds up your life force energy, that's doing the dance of the interplay of your masculine and feminine, right? Feminine attach, masculine detach. And there's a reason it's at the base of your spine, because then the Kundalini energy flows up. Yeah?
It makes total sense. It makes total sense because they talk about Shiva and Shakti. Shiva being the masculine part of it,
Right.
which is the ocean that contains all creation.
Mm-hmm.
And that ocean being silence itself. If it's what contains everything, and Shakti
Yes,
being
yes, yes.
the energy that is born out of it, which is creation.
Right.
And that is the feminine aspect of it. So why would they just go into silence and always say silence and always say silence? Right, because the feminine aspect of it is it's being suppressed, like you said. I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna shut up here.
No, don't shut up.
I've seen it. I mean, there's mostly monks. I was kicked out of a Hare Krishna center one time, but in India. Because I'm a woman, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's really no way to doll it up. Does anybody else have another question before we, yeah.
I don't have a question, but I was wondering if you could show me again when we were standing up.
Uh-huh.
I feel like when we started doing it faster, my breath was out of sync with the actual handwork.
Oh, the yes breath? Okay. Sure, yeah. That's a great way to close out the night. So we're going to, Bhastrika is one of the names for this breath. And let's see, if you guys have any more questions, I have some information by the front desk. I have an email list that you can join. I've got a workshop at my studio this Saturday that has a couple of spots left in it. So yeah, we're going to close out on the sound breath on Bhastrika. So specifically, did you have a question? You just had a hard time when we picked up the pace?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like my hand was, I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was out of sync, and I wanted to be like.
That's just practice. And you can go to one of my YouTube videos and practice. But yeah, it's a fun way to close out the night. So we'll give you some more practice. How about that? All right. All right. So you can stay seated. You can do Bhastrika anytime, anywhere. Especially if you don't mind, offending people with your sound. Inhale, reach it up. And instead of saying yes this time, you're just going to let out a ha. Yep, just let out a generic guttural sound. Inhale and exhale, ha. Inhale and exhale, ha. Inhale, ha. Let's pick up the pace. Ha, 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 ha. Now remember, you're reaching up to pure possibility. You're reaching up to that Shiva energy, and you're pulling it down into your core for manifestation, for creation. So think about what you're pulling down and let go of anything that's blocking you from manifesting it as you say, ha, 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 ha. Come on, shake these walls with your release. Ha, 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 ha. All right, arms up, eyes closed. Good. Feel that life force energy pouring down. Feel that earth energy coming up. Feel it coming together in your heart. You can create a sankalpa. I have, I create. And then take your hands to your heart. Ground that intention for creation, empowered creation into your heart. And enjoy the rest of your evening.